Hello everyone and welcome to the F1 Corner once again, just ahead of the Portuguese Grand Prix 2021. This is the pre-race show bringing you the latest news and also what to expect for the upcoming race. So I hope you enjoy this. Please remember to smash the like button and to subscribe to this channel so that you will not miss any news or update regarding the Portuguese Grand Prix or any other race this season. So let's start with the news as usual. First, the very sad news that the Canadian Grand Prix will be cancelled once again for 2021. This does not come as much of a surprise considering that the COVID-19 pandemic is still going strong around the world, even though vaccination has started. And Canadian Grand Prix coming just after Azerbaijan, 1 week after, while the quarantine should be 14 days in Canada. This was not really doable. There was no real compromise that could be found. But on the bright side, even though it is cancelled for a second year in a row, the contract for the Canadian Grand Prix is extended by 2 years, so until 2031 to make up for those lost years. So on the bright side, Canadian Grand Prix is safe in the long-term future, I should say. A race that has some more good news, more exciting news. The Japanese Grand Prix contract has been extended for another 3 years. This is good news for Japan. We know that the drivers loves to go there, that the Japanese people are big fans of Formula 1. It's always a pretty special race, and that track of Suzuka has been on the calendar for many years. So pretty cool, and hopefully we can go to Japan to race this year too, toward the end of the season. Let's keep talking about races. Sprint races announced for 3 events this season. We made a whole video about that and what we think about those sprint format. I will leave the link in the description. But sprint races format that will be tried on 3 races this year: in Silverstone, in Monza, and one other race outside of Europe that has yet to be announced. So a lot of excitement around that. It is something that Formula 1 wanted to try to spice up things a little bit in the upcoming weekends, and also, to try and maybe just bring something different to the public. And the way it will work, you will have a practice on Friday, qualifying on Saturday for a sprint race. Qualifying on Friday for the sprint race, practice on Saturday, sprint race on Saturday, and the result of the sprint race will decide who will the start order for the Grand Prix. So yeah, we have mitigated opinion on that on the F1 Corner. Like I said, check the video in the description to find out more. But on the driver's side, it seems to pass fairly well. We know that Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton and even Max Verstappen are pretty excited to try it, all saying that it's going to put more uncertainty during the races weekend, because they're going to have less time to find good settings, and that according to Max Verstappen, it will really push the cars to the very limit. So we're eager to see what's going to happen with that. I think it is something that we at least need to try. Maybe not the best idea, but at the very least, let's give credit to Formula 1. They want to try something new. Was talking about Verstappen recently. Well, let's keep talking about Red Bull and what's coming for this Portuguese Grand Prix this weekend. Well, first of all, Red Bull, big news on their side. They hired Ben Hodgkinson from Mercedes to lead their engine development department at Red Bull. Hodgkinson has been part of Mercedes for nearly 20 years now, so he's been at the heart of the Mercedes program, and also the development of the Mercedes engine that we know is so good at the moment. And when I say he's been at Mercedes, I don't mean 20 years at the Mercedes team, because the team has not existed for that long, but working with the Mercedes department for nearly 20 years overall, including the company and other team powered by Mercedes. So it's a big news. He's going to bring a lot of knowledge to Red Bull, who is trying to build their own engine for 2025. I remind you, after Honda leaving at the end of the season and the engine freeze that will occur for the subsequent years. So it's a big name, and also we're really seeing a shift at Mercedes at the moment, with also the head of their engine department that left earlier this year. And does it mean the end for Mercedes in terms of power and being the dominant team? We don't know, but if you just look at what we're seeing this season, there's already a change. Honda itself is making good progress. Is it Mercedes that made a step back or did not progress enough? Or is it really that Honda made a big move forward? It's anybody's guess, but I think we're in for some exciting years in the future. And good job to Red Bull to bring that expertise to their team. Let's talk about Mercedes now, since we're already pretty much in the subject. Finishing second for Hamilton in Imola 2 weeks ago, and disappointing weekend for Valtteri Bottas, who crashed with George Russell. Hamilton saying they're coming to Portugal in the unknown. Not sure if they're gonna be on par with Red Bull, as we've seen pretty much since the beginning of the season. Mercedes a little bit on the back foot or equal ground. So Hamilton still trying to do the best he can, will not change his approach, and try to get the best of those Red Bulls. Valtteri Bottas on his side was very frustrated after Imola, after crashing with George Russell. But according to his comment during today's press conference, this is done and dusted, and he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. He did not talk once again with George Russell since the incident, which maybe speaks a lot to the tension between both drivers. But Bottas will be looking at redemption this weekend. He's fallen in the championship. Because of that, he did not finish the race in Imola, obviously. So looking to make a comeback in Portugal. Let's talk about Williams, since I was in the topic of George Russell. Both Williams had a disappointing weekend in Imola, were in contention for points before that crash with Russell and Bottas. Will try to redeem themselves also in Portugal. They seem to have a very decent car if the conditions are good, from what we've seen so far. I mean, like I said, Russell was running 10th, almost 9th before the crash. Nicolas Latifi was a little bit more unlucky, crashing on lap 1, but let's face it, the start at Imola was a little bit hectic, especially under the wet and the rain, so no big blame there. But Williams could surprise us a few times this season if things keep going that way. Let's talk about Ferrari. Pretty good weekend in Portugal. 4th for Charles Leclerc, 5th for Carlos Sainz, who is still learning about the red car. But Sainz making good progress, still not there just yet, but pretty happy with what he's doing, with the job he's doing, always learning more every race, every weekend, and it's really for him, it's really the pace on one lap that still needs to be worked on during the race. I think he's doing a pretty decent job. Like I said, he finished 5th, right behind Charles Leclerc 2 weeks ago. Can he challenge Charles this week in Portugal? Probably not yet, but what's really good is that we can see he is making progress and a step forward. Ferrari, a team to watch out for. They were close to the podium 2 weeks ago, and given the right conditions, I think they could finish on the podium. Speaking of podium, let's go with McLaren. McLaren, who finished on the podium in Imola, Lando Norris finishing 3rd, and Daniel Ricciardo, who was 6th. It was a good race for both cars. Daniel Ricciardo saying he is still struggling a bit with that McLaren. He's still got work to do, but in an interview this week said he was very, very confident that McLaren would give him the chance to become world champion in the future. This is a big statement. It also shows his trust in McLaren, which he is joining this year. Lando Norris will try to replicate the result of Imola and finishing 3rd again this week. This is going to be tough if both Mercedes and Red Bull are in it, but nothing is impossible, and the McLaren really are a team to watch out for. In the right conditions, the McLaren could really bring a fight to the Red Bull and the Mercedes, especially considering that McLaren now got a Mercedes engine for this season. So watch out for them. Let's talk about AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri, one team that has been fairly disappointing so far this season for various reasons. In Bahrain it was Pierre Gasly who had issues with the car, and in Imola Yuki Tsunoda could not perform as well as we anticipated, not making it out of Q1 obviously because of a crash, and during the race making many mistakes, and in the end finishing out of the points. The young rookie will change his approach to the qualifying this weekend, according to what he said during the press conference. In Imola he said that the car could have easily made it to Q2, but he was pushing in Q1 as if this was Q3, which is definitely not right. But he is a rookie, he is learning, and this is what is important. Pierre Gasly had a good weekend in Imola, and will try to do the same, but the midfield is so packed this season that it is really tough to say where they stand. I think AlphaTauri could be in the fight for 6th, 7th if they have a good race, but it's something that we will really only know when they both have a good weekend, good race weekend. Alpine, Renault, getting their first point 2 weeks ago in Imola, thanks to penalty to Kimi Raikkonen. Both cars finish in the points, otherwise only Esteban Ocon would have. But there's a lot of work to do for that team. They were in the fight for 3rd last year, and this season I think they're gonna have trouble being in the fight for 5th if things keep going the way they are. Esteban Ocon currently getting the best of Fernando Alonso, but Alonso saying he also got a lot to learn about that car, a lot to work on himself. It's not the fault of the car. It's Alonso saying it's really himself who needs to work harder, and I hope we can see something bright for them this week. Another team that is struggling is Aston Martin. Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll, both struggling to get good results. Yes, Stroll finishing the points in the first 2 races, but he got a little bit lucky to some extent. I'm not saying that he did not have good races, far from that, but still luck was on his side to get those points. Vettel really struggling. Mistakes in Bahrain, mistakes in Imola. Really cannot get on top of that car. There really seems to be missing something. He said it himself. He's missing that confidence in the car to push and get the result. Can he finally unlock that confidence this week? It's something that we hope he can do, especially for his own reputation after a few hard years at Ferrari. Vettel needs to start delivering results and show that he is worth those 4 World Championship titles that he's got under his belt. Aston Martin, whoops, dropped my notes. Aston Martin really needs a good race, and just like Alpine, they were in the fight for 3rd last year, and they are also currently struggling to even be in the fight for 5th. So let's watch what's going to happen. And the 2 remaining backfield team, Alfa Romeo, not much to expect for them. Yes, they almost got points in Imola, but Kimi Raikkonen got struck with a time penalty and in the end was out of the points. Still, they got a car that could perform relatively well under the perfect condition. As shown in Imola, they were in the fight for points. And they made good progress since last year. I think they're still in front of Williams, but it's still going to be a struggle. And Haas, I don't expect anything from them. 2 rookie drivers in a car that is not getting developed. It is sad. We probably won't talk much about Haas for the whole season, apart to take Nikita Mazepin and Lance Stroll a little bit into pity. But still, it is good for those 2 drivers that they have no pressure to perform, since they are both rookies and they need to learn Formula 1. So let's give them a chance, and maybe one of them will surprise us at some point this season. That's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to smash the like button and to subscribe to this channel. And I will see you again after the free practice session of the 2021 Portuguese Grand Prix in Portimao. Thank you and see you next time.